So, 10 years old, you moved back to Iraq. How you said that you did speak Arabic, or you were taught to speak Arabic. How was your Arabic when you got to Iraq?
It was broken Arabic.
Broken Arabic, of course, because at that age, you know.
So I was like, you know how it sounds when you don't speak like your proper Arabic or any other language. It's a broken, funny, and at school I was picked on because of that. So I've been looked like as the guy who is trying to be cool, but he's not. But actually, this was me.
Yeah,
I wasn't making it up. So yeah, I had to take a few steps back in order for me to adapt in the society and be amongst everyone. So it was an uncomfortable zone for me for a period of time until I started making new friends, learning. Like, I was all ears to listen and grasp any joke, any slang, anything that I could make my life easier at school or even at life. I started going out with my cousins. I started going out with my elder uncles just to learn, to listen, to watch. I was an observer, but a good listener. And yeah, it didn't take much time until I became like a typical Iraqi.
So slowly you did your education and you...
Yeah. But it was quiet and silent, like,
So at that time, what was going on in Iraq at that time, from the teenagers throughout high school?
So yeah, by the time we returned back, it was like a few days, weeks, I think, until the first Gulf War started, or the invasion of Kuwait happened.
So literally within a few days of touching down in Iraq?
Yeah, like I would say a few weeks, as I recall, like literally. I don't remember like enjoying Iraq in a peaceful time, because Iraq at the year 88 just finished the war with Iran, 8-year war with Iran. So it was like just 2 years of like, you know, catching the breath of the country, like rebuilding stuff which was damaged for the long period of war with Iran for the 8 years, and like just a couple of years, and then straight away, boom, we're invading Kuwait. America is after us. Boom, boom, boom.
Where were you located at that time in Iraq?
In Baghdad, in the capital.
And so what were the early things happening after the invasion or when the war started? What did you see around you? How was the environment?
Very uncomfortable because we had to relocate because we were scared, avoiding staying next to glass windows because it could break and hurt us. I remember sleeping under the stairs because it was safest place, because, you know, levels of the house is the last that could hit you and reach you. These are the survival mechanisms that we developed. Funny, I'm laughing about it, but at that time we were also laughing about it. I mean, it was a nice time away from work, away from school, which everyone hated. But at the same time, we were gathering, making fun, but you could feel the tense and the stress of everyone, especially the elder ones around us. But it was all nice, like we were gathered as families together, making new friends in different locations.
Oh, so at some point you had to relocate?
Yeah.
Where did you relocate to?
Different provinces in Iraq. We went to the south, and then like it was a crazy road around. And then suddenly the civil war started when it was immediately after the first Gulf War, when some troops came from, I think, if I recall, from Iran, who were trying to make the Saddam regime fall. So Saddam had to take the army and fight these people to push them away. So we were already in that territory in the south. So Baghdad was a safe place at that time, but we were in the danger zone. We're in the red zone. So we witnessed quite a lot as kids. And
throughout that age, what were your feelings towards everything that was going on?
It was just chaos.
I guess at that point, when someone's in the middle of something going on so crazy, you don't really have time to sit and think about it, right? It's survival mode.
It is. Yeah.
I'm assuming from your parents, look after ourselves, look after the kids, and just...
We were kids at that time. I would say I was 11 years old because it was 1991. I was 11 years old at that time. So I was still like a kid, not a teenager yet. But we're making friends as we move around, new friends, because we're relocating from school to a house to a park to finding shelter and running away from the whole issues. But yeah, so there was always families in camp, so we used to make friends as our parents were trying to make a comfortable small temporary camp for us. For us kids, we were playing, making fun. So this is the only fun part that I remember, but I wasn't really ready enough to look at the other side of the or see or feel the other side of the issues that my parents were going through.
War and that level of trauma creates, of course, a level of PTSD. Do you feel you have or have had suffered with the level of PTSD because of the years that you were kind of experiencing that?
This was just the first war.
Okay.
What I've seen after was more and worse.
Okay.
Until 2005 was the last time I had to run away from my country forcefully and book the first flight after so many incidents happened in between.
So the first war that we're talking about is from the age of 11 until?
15, 14.
15, 14.
Yeah.
And then from that
there was another war at the, I think, age of 16. And then it kept on going, like war after war and then invasion after invasion.
At some point, did it just feel like this is life, this is normal, this is...
Yeah. We are strong enough to handle this and this is like normal for us. Seeing dead bodies, it's normal. Hearing bombs is like just firecrackers for us. Not having a normal life that like what I'm living right now here in Dubai, this was absolutely normal for us at that time. We used to hear from our parents what a normal life used to be. But we reached to the level where it was safe. It was quite okay before the 2003, the fall of the bigger invasion where Saddam was removed from the government. Before that, we were kind of like okay, so we were thinking we were okay, and then it's controversial.
Of course.
We were safe. We did not have any
like immediate
ethnic,
threat or immediate.
We did not have any ethnic wars. We did not have any civil wars in between. Saddam was taking control of the majority of the variety and diversity of the Iraqi people, religion-wise, ethnicity-wise, or different backgrounds. He was grasping everything at one big, strong hand. But that was on the other side where we were isolated from the world outside. Traveling was like kind of a dream for a person to go out. I still remember internet when it was launched outside globally. It took us quite a lot of years until it reached. Mobile phones, when it was launched, for us Iraqis, we held our first mobile. I held my first mobile, one of the first to have the mobile in Iraq, in 2004. Before that, we had nothing. Satellites, nothing. No one was allowed to have a satellite before 2003. So we were kind of isolated, but we were thirsty for knowledge. We were thirsty for looking at what the world is doing. What is internet? The moment internet was opened, you see everyone is an expert in internet. It was so fast that they're very smart in catching and grasping what's there. Mobile phone, everyone, my cousins, they didn't finish high school, but they're experts in fixing, and they're mobile experts building, these mountains of or the antennas for the government to spread the network around. That was like the beauty of I would be a little bit biased here, but the beauty of the Iraqis were very, very smart people, despite whether they finished their education or not. But just give them a little bit of info, and they're experts straight away. They know, they catch it very quickly, very, very quickly. So yeah, I mean, after the year 2003, it took us a year until we adapted to what's going on. Like, okay, it's safe to go out. From 2004, mobile phones were straight away there. Every house in Iraq had a satellite. The people who sold satellites at that time became millionaires at the moment, because that's how they were hungry for this. They were thirsty, like, oh, let's see what's happening in the world.
Of course, you would be.
Wow, channels. Wow, we only had 2 channels. That's it. Wow, what's movies? Really? What's going on here? Yeah, I could see the entire world. So, you know, knowledge. Yeah.
So before leaving Iraq and coming to Dubai, there were a few incidents that led to you leaving.
Yeah.
What led to it? What was happening at that time?
So I finished my university in Iraq as a biologist / biotechnologist, which is like into genetic engineering. And I was at my last days in the university where I got a job offer straight away from my uncle. He's an ophthalmologist in his clinic. So I worked with him as an assistant to handle his clinic, documents, patients, flow, you know, learning about ophthalmology. So he wanted to invest in a new machine into what he does, because doctors who work with eye ophthalmologists, they have to use equipment. And so I was investigating. I'm an expert now in internet, so I was Googling, or if there was Google at the time, I don't remember.
It might have been Ask Jeeves. I think Jeeves was there.
I don't know. Anyway, but I started researching until I found the company that sells these products. So I sent them emails. This was literally 2003 or 4. Yeah, I think 4. And I got a reply from a company in Iraq inviting me to have a meeting with them. So I went to the meeting as a representative from my uncle's clinic to sit down with the sales manager of the company. And as I was talking about the equipment, and I know the equipment because I studied it before coming to him, he looked at me, he's like, cut the bullshit. Would you like to have a job with me and work in this company? It was Zeiss at that time. Zeiss is a big name. It's a German company. He was the exclusive distributor for it in Iraq. And I was like, really? I was like, give me some time. Let me get back to you. So I went back and I spoke to my uncle. He was like the godfather for me in work and like pushing me to work and stuff. He's like, yeah, go work straight away. I was like, what about your job? And I'm like, he's like, you can do both.
Yeah.
Finish your work and come. I'll not cut your salary. You'll have both. I'm like, cool. So I started working straight away the next day. I think a couple of days after I did the interview, and straight away I was hired, working, getting familiar with the work. And then this is where the chaos started, because we had to deal with the Americans at that time because there was no government, and the American army was taking over the country. So business had to go on, and rebuilding Iraq was kind of the program at that time. So we had to sit down with generals to set deals. So we looked like to the people who still don't understand what's going on, people who had the weapons, that we were betrayers of the country. We shook hands with the Americans. Some of the people who were divided, people who accepted the Americans, and there were still people who did not accept. They were carrying guns and they were shooting people who were into the side of the army. So, yeah, they didn't understand what type of work we were doing. We were not with the army. We were with the country, but we were just doing our job. So, yeah, we got attacked big time, and few of our colleagues got shot, those who passed away and those who got injured. I didn't speak about this incident to my parents, so I got chased one time also by, I still remember, BMW 5 Series. The window opened and the machine gun was pointed out at me. Luckily, I managed to escape. I don't know how. I wasn't brave. It's just natural instinct.
Survival mode kicked in.
So yeah, but life was going on. This was normal. This was absolutely normal. It's like day-to-day happening things.
And just quickly, the reason why someone would do that is because they feel that you are betraying the country.
Either this, they were a mixture. They're either this or they were after the money because you're working with the Americans, you're getting dollars and let's take some money. So kidnapping was a high trend at that time. Kidnapping was the thing.
I mean, at that time, you'd heard that kidnapping is going around.
Yeah.
You know it was a big thing.
Yeah.
Were you prepared in some way? I mean, no one can really be prepared for being kidnapped, but is there, if you know it's happening a lot, are people taking precautions? I mean, locking
Everyone
doors,
was carrying a gun with them or sort of a weapon. I was having my own gun, which I took from my uncle, I think. At that time, he was in the army with Saddam, so he had few guns around. So he spared with us something. So I managed to take one, keep it with me in the car.
And at this point, it's happening so much that you're kind of always looking over your shoulder.
You have to be careful. You have to be careful. But life kept on going even while the Americans were shooting. So,
I mean, from what we've heard today, the age of 11 until whatever age this was, just 25, absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And at some point we get used to whatever we're subject to.
Yeah.
We get used to it. So up until this point, I mean, now looking back, however many years later, how would you describe yourself at that point, just before the attempted kidnap? How would you describe your mental health,
I was normal. I was absolutely normal.
You'd become hardened to everything that's happened.
Yeah, it was life. This was the only life that we knew. So we were fine. Absolutely sharp mental focus, strong. I mean, we think we were strong at that time, but now looking back at it, yes, we were tough.
Of course.
Yeah.
The human,
looking at the life right now and men, what they're going through right now, no, we were soldiers. We were warriors, actually, not soldiers. Yeah. So, I mean, you know that they say like going to the army makes a man, or going to tough times makes a man. Yeah, we were tough. I am today who I am is because of the life I lived in the past. It's because of the death I've seen in my eyes. There's a funny video of Joe Rogan where he says like the scariest stare of one of the fighters that he was talking about. He's one of the guys, he's a serial killer who killed so many people, and the other one is like from the kind of like SWAT who killed also. Like they stare at each other. I see myself one of them, and I think I'm more scarier than they are. That's how tough I can be. But I mean, life in Dubai made me a little bit softer. Like for me, this is soft life. This is nothing. This is like fancy, spoiled.
Safe.
Safe. First couple of years, I remember whenever I hear any tire of a car blasts outside, I'm like, what's happening? Yeah, there's something outside. Until we managed to adapt, but yeah.